Coach, let's look back at Penn State, at Ohio State. Penn State's 8th ranked. Ohio State wins. They go to Indianapolis, which they did, obviously. If Penn State would have won, they probably would have wound up in Indianapolis had they beaten Rutgers next week. But big, big game. What do you think about when you look back?
First of all, it was a great game. I was able to go to the game and be a part of it. Ohio State is probably the best roster, most talented team in America, but Penn State played their hearts out. Their defense was outstanding. They took advantage of some turnovers, field positions, but Ohio State kind of stuffed them out. But when you have Will Levis go in, I didn't know who he was.
I know.
He goes in the game, and I mean, instantaneous spark. There was one drive. He took him right down the field and punched it in. So, first of all, I think it was a great game. I think it's the first time Ohio State has been challenged. I live in Columbus, so I hear some of the fans, well, the conservative play calling, and here we go. Here we go. But I thought it was a great game, a great win, and some dominating performances by some of the players.
How about some of the individual efforts?
Yeah, Chase Young is going to New York. And if it's not, then that's a farce. You know, it's something, every time I speak of this or get asked a question, not that anybody wants to hear it, but I think the Heisman is flawed. And that's a strong, powerful statement. The Heisman Trophy voting is flawed. How do you vote before the conference championship game? Explain. I just want to hear common sense, someone say, well, that's the right thing to do. There's not one human being that would say that's the right thing to do. I think they should, and so did Reggie and Matt, 2 Heisman Trophy winners, they should do it after the national championship game. Those are the biggest games. It's not the best performance in easy games.
Right.
I think the voters should take all these easy games, just go 2 or 3 games. Chase Young, Justin Fields, JK Dobbins are going to be measured in the next couple weeks. Joe Burrow's already done it. Now he's going to be measured more. And then, you know, the same thing with any other candidates. Who cares when they, you know, they're completing 75% of their passes. Who cares? Are they the best player in the best games?
You know, I'm a Heisman voter, and here's how I do it. I watch the Big Ten because it's done geographically. So my job is to find the best player in our footprint. So I do exactly that. I watch all the games, but I pay attention to the biggest games. Then once I compare the best player in our footprint, I go to the toughest games. Because I can't watch all the games, right? So why would I watch someone that's in the running in a blowout?
I know we're going off script a little bit, but even in the NFL draft, you know, if you're going to draft Chase Young, why would you watch him against Miami, Ohio? All due respect to Miami.
Correct.
Don't watch that film.
Correct.
Watch him on 4th down. Watch him in the rivalry game. Watch him against Penn State. Don't watch the other games. All that does is confuse you, and certainly don't look at the stats from those games. And same thing, you know, I feel about the college football playoffs too. Get rid of all these easy games. The Heisman could be one of the first ones to do it. Wait until after the season. Only pick the good games. Pick your Heisman Trophy winner.
I have never met a Heisman voter that doesn't believe it should be later in the voting. Coincidentally, 2 other Heisman candidates of Ohio State had really good games.
Right.
Who's next in your mind?
I'd have to go with Fields. You know, I love JK Dobbins, and obviously was part of his life and recruited him. I was not. Justin Fields is new, but my gosh, is he something. You know, and I know he laid the ball on the ground twice, but he is a warrior. You know, Coach Ryan, Dave said that after the game. Those are things that I think no one knew because he's never played college football. At Georgia, he didn't play. He was a backup, and in my mind, he hasn't played much this year until now. You know, Wisconsin here, once again, all due respect to those other teams, no one cares when the talent is like this. If the talent is so far unequated, who cares? But that talent, and he had to play well, and he did.
What about JK?
JK is the all-purpose guy, man. I love him, and we all love him. Matt Leinart even said it when he interviewed him on Big Noon, is that he's an even better kid than he is. He did not play his senior year. His father passed away. He's got an incredible story, and he's just a role model for everyone. And I hope the world gets to meet this guy because he's that good a kid. He carried the ball over 30 times against a very good defense. He got stronger and tougher as the game went on, and he's the best back in America.
All right, that's a look back. One last thing about this game. The difficulty of playing Penn State 7 days before you play your rival.
Well, once again, you're hitting some wheelhouses with me. I got very strong opinions about that. And the SEC has the answer. I don't agree with it. I lived it for 6 years. And that was, I could not wait until the Citadel or Charleston Southern showed up. You go in the training room at Ohio State today and yesterday, it's going to be packed with players. I mean, you'll probably have 30 players in there, I'm saying, that are beat up. You go down to Tuscaloosa or I don't know who LSU played, but you go to one of those teams and there's no one in the training room, you know, unless they're just stopping by and saying hello. Ohio State, I think, had practice yesterday. A lot of the players didn't practice. That's one practice gone. Monday is a day off. Tuesday, if you're still banged up, you can't go out. That's another practice gone. Well, it's just a practice, coach. Well, what the heck are you talking about? Just practice. That's how you're going to win this game.
Right.
And that's behind the scenes that not many people see. So does Auburn and Alabama play teams they beat by 60 points? The kids didn't play in the second half. I'm not sure they watched any videotape. Do they have an advantage? Yeah, of course they got an advantage. And I think that goes back to that uniform scheduling, that you want to make this world all fair, uniform scheduling. Right. 9 conference games or 8. If you want to play FCS team, then so does Ohio State, so does the team up north. They play a FCS team before the rivalry game.